What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. Hello, all you Elemental Shaman players. We had some crazy patch notes that just happened on the beta. There's a lot of other classes and specs that I'm going to cover in the patch notes, but not today, okay? We're just going to look at LE Shaman. I'm going to do videos for different ones. Let's talk about what happened. So there were some definite nerfs that came through for LE Shaman. We're going to start right here. There were also some incredible quality of life changes and a lot of buffs, actually. So it's like a 50-50 split. You know, I'm a super positive guy. I like to keep it positive, but there are definitely some nerfs going on here, so let's talk about them, okay? Lightning Bolt nerfed by 3%. Not really sure why. Lightning Bolt wasn't really a threat, in my opinion, but that's okay. Lava Burst damage down by 25%. This is big. This is a huge nerf to the fire build because a bulk of your damage is Lava Burst. Like, if you're doing a regular fire build, usually 30% of your damage is Lava Burst. So it's a lot. That's a huge nerf right there. LE Blast down by 25%. This is also countered by Earth Shock going up by 25%. Excuse me. So that's like a 50% swing now between LE Blast and Earth Shock. It's like Earth Shock went up 25, LE Blast went down 25. So I think that Earth Shock might hit harder than LE Blast does now. Like, if we just look at the regular, if we look at my damage right now, my LE Blast is going to do 785,000 damage. Earth Shock only does 417. Now, the buffs are not in yet. Nothing has changed right now on this game that you're looking at, okay? For whatever reason, the beta has not actually been updated. So these are old numbers, but let's extrapolate, right? If we go 25% more, that's another 100K for Earth Shock. So it goes to like 530,000 damage. And if this goes down by 25%, you're going to drop like 150,000 basically, right? 153. No, you're going to drop 200,000 damage. Basically, it's almost 200,000 damage. So you're going to go down to 500 and let's call it 600,000. You're probably going to go down to like 590, 580,000. And this is going to go up to 530,000. So they're going to be very close now in damage because one's going down by 25%, one is going up by 25%. Of course, LE Blast gives you all the extra buffs, the crit, the mastery, the haste, but Earth Shock cost way less Maelstrom and it's instant cast. So there's going to be a very, very serious case to be made for Earth Shock being the better spender over LE Blast. We're going to have to wait and see, right? The Maelstrom difference is staggering. And then the instant cast from Earth Shock is amazing. That gives you more mobility. So we'll see. Could be a difference there. Earthquake down by 15%. Flame Shock down by 15%. So I think we knew that nerfs were coming for LE Shaman. We knew nerfs were coming, but these are pretty substantial. There's nothing, no two bones about it. This is two ways about it. There's no bone about it. Whatever. This is very serious, the nerfs here. Thunderstrike ward damage has gone up by 150%. I'm going to show you my calculations on this in a second. I have a whole bunch of like calculations that I did. Let me talk about that in a minute. Thunderstrike ward is up. Splintered Elements is down by 10% baseline haste. So that's a pretty big hit to that as well. So right now it gives 20% plus 4 for each additional lava burst. So if you have 6 lava bursts, that's 24% more. So you can get 44% haste total. Now you'll only be able to get 34% haste total. So it's 10 plus 4 instead of 20 plus 4. Pretty substantial whack there, but still, it's a good little haste buff. It's like a little PI that we're giving ourselves every 30 seconds. It's very, very strong still. Even just at a baseline level, this is a very strong thing to have, even if it's at 10% haste baseline. Okay. Earth Shock damage went up. I already talked about that. Power the Maelstrom has a 60% chance to proc now instead of a 25. So this is going to be procking like all the time. Now, I think Blizzard recognized that mastery is not as crazy anymore as it was on live. Like, mastery is good. Overloading a spell is good, but the overloads only do 35% more damage. So instead of 100%. So the fact that they're getting lots of overloads now from Power the Maelstrom is not going to be like OP, but it's good. It's good. That's a great buff for Lightning Bolt damage now. Liquid Magma Totem is now a 30-second cooldown. This is humongous. This is humongous. This is really going to help to fix the, I would say, the Flame Shock problem that people complain about all the time, where it's like, oh, we can't get Flame Shocks out on every single pack in Mythic Plus. Well, now you can, okay? Just honestly, this was not an issue in my mind Even right now, it being a 1 minute cooldown, you take totemic recall, you get it back. Like, it's not an issue at all for me, in my opinion, especially if you run Surge of Power, because you can just use like an Earth Shock or an Earthquake and then press Flame Shock and you get 2 Flame Shocks instead of 1. So maybe this is going to swing Surge of Power over towards Aftershock, because now you're going to have Liquid Magma Totem up for every pack guaranteed. So it being a 30-second cooldown instead of a minute. So I think Aftershock gains a lot of value now, because I think most of the value of Surge of Power was the Flame Shock cleaving. Yeah, the extra Lightning Bolt overloads are good as well, but really the Flame Shock cleave was like, I don't know, 70% of the value of Surge of Power was the Flame Shock cleave. You don't need it anymore, I don't think, because you got a 30-second Liquid Magma Totem. So I think the Flame Shock problem is solved. This is a really, really good change. For Mythic Plus, it's really good. Liquid Magma Totem actually just does a lot of damage as well. You're going to see Liquid Magma Totem is going to do a tremendous amount of damage. Let me see if I actually have really quickly. I have an AoE pull here somewhere. Down here. There's one there. So, oh, I didn't use it though, apparently. There it is there. So Liquid Magma Totem doing 4% of my damage. So this is literally going to have twice the uptime now on an AoE pack. So instead of it doing 4% of my damage, it's now going to probably do 8% of my damage, or like, let's say even 7% of my damage. Let's be generous, right? So it's going to be way higher on the damage charts now, because Liquid Magma Totem actually pumps damage in AoE. So huge AoE damage buff here. And obviously the Flame Shock cleaving for free is very huge as well. Okay. Icefury damage up by 85%. We're going to show you that. Earthen Rage damage up by 60%. I'm going to talk about that. Let's do those right now, and then I want to get into the Flash of Lightning discussion, because this is a massive, massive change. This is probably the biggest change in the patch notes. The fact that Flash of Lightning will now reduce the cooldown of Stone Bulwark and Primordial Wave. Let me show you my calculations really quickly, though. Okay, so right now in the game, Thunderstrike Ward is doing about 0.3% of my damage. That's about 600k, okay? It's now in the future, when this gets updated, which obviously we're looking at patch notes, but it's not live yet, it's going to do 0.9% of my damage, because it's 150% more damage. So it's going to do about 1.5 million. So like Thunderstrike Ward, this is mostly in single target, because I actually don't think you're going to take Thunderstrike Ward in AoE. Like, there might be a build where you take this sucker, but it's incredibly limiting if you take this talent, because it kind of wrecks all the stuff that you want to do elsewhere. So this is only I think I only took this in single target, but we'll have to see. Either way, it's going to go from about 0.3% of your damage, maybe something like 0.5% of your damage, up to 0.9 or 1.5% of your damage. So it's really not going to be that huge of a contributor. If you look at where it is on the chart here, it might go from like down here to like up here, where your Greater Storm LEL is going to be. Somewhere in this range up here. Okay, Earthen Rage is going to go, this is only single target, because I think you're only going to take Earthen Rage in single target. That's my understanding of this right now. I don't think you're going to take it in AoE. Single target Earthen Rage, it does 1.6% of our damage right now. It's going to go up to about 2.6, maybe up to 3%, depending on how it kind of ends up looking. I think I've got a thing here. I think this is my single target. So Earthen Rage is going to go from 1.6% of your damage up to about 2.6, almost 3. That's just under Frost Shock right now. It's right up here. So it's going to be like your 9th damage thing, your 8th or 9th damage on your detail. So again, not amazing, but certainly better than where it's at. I still think it could use a buff. I don't really think that these talents only giving you 1 to 2% of your damage overall, or like sorry, 1 to 3% of your damage overall. I just feel like that's not enough for a mid-section talent. I don't know. I feel like they should be giving you like closer to 4% of your overall. Maybe that's too much to ask. I don't know. To me, these only giving you 1 to 2% of your overall damage overall is just not good. Icefury right now does 1.7% of our damage in single target. And then it's going to do about 3.2% in the new patch. Again, Icefury's main function is to give you a proc of Ellie Blast from Fusion of the Elements. So the actual damage from Icefury isn't really that consequential. It also gives you Frost Shocks, and the Frost Shocks do a lot of damage on single target. So Icefury's damage is now going to be brought up to exactly where Frost Shock is. So instead of it being down here at 1.7%, it's going to go up to about 3%, 3.1%, maybe 3.2. Okay? So the actual Icefury hit itself is going to go up. But again, it doesn't really matter. It's here. It's good to get more damage out of it, but the point of this ability is to buff your next, to give you an LE Blast proc, really, in my opinion. Those are some of the damage calculations that have gone up with the patch notes, okay? Though that's like Earthen Rage, Icefury, and then the Thunderstrike ward. Okay, let's get to this. Flash of Lightning was not reducing the cooldown on Stone Bulwark and Primordial Wave. This is really, really crazy. So that's this talent right here. This talent already reduces the cooldown on most of your nature spells, like almost all of them. So for example, your Storm Elemental will have its cooldown reduced by Flash of Lightning. Your Stormkeeper has its cooldown reduced by Flash of Lightning. Your Nature Swiftness, or in the case of Farseer, your Ancestral Swiftness has its cooldown reduced by Nature's Swiftness, which is really, really, really good. This is incredibly strong. It's going to matter more in a minute. Now, your Stone Bulwark Totem and your Primordial Wave are going to join that crew. You also, sorry, Wind Shear gets its cooldown reduced. I believe Cap Totem does. I'm not entirely sure about that, though. I think Cap Totem does. But, yeah, like your Kick gets its cooldown reduced, which is insane. Like, this talent actually reduces the cooldown of almost everything, which is a really, really interesting playstyle thing now that you get to use if you want to cast Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt. You must be casting Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt because those are the only spells that do it. So you're going to have to do a more lightning-focused build. But I think now there's like a realistic build where you could take Primordial Wave, and you probably have to take Liquid Magma Totem now. And you have like Stormkeeper and Lightning Rod, and you could do a Stormbringer build maybe. And then you're now getting cooldown reduction on one of your best defensive buttons. Now with Stone Bulwark Totem, again, this is a 2.3 million absorb that stacks up. And Primordial Wave, which is a 30-second cooldown, but can now become basically a 20-second cooldown on average probably, or a 15-second cooldown if you're really prioritizing your Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning cast. I would say in single target situations, this was probably a 15-second cooldown now. Probably, maybe more like 20, but whatever. My point is, this now gets its cooldown reduced, and this gets its cooldown reduced as well. So let's say you want to do a Farseer Lightning Fire hybrid build, which is something I showcased a couple of videos ago, or I think one video ago. It is now more viable than it has ever been before, because now you have a 30-second Liquid Magma Totem, so your Flame Shock spreading is taken care of. You have like a 20-second Primordial Wave. You're going to have a 15 to 20-second Ancestral Swiftness as well. So you can go Ancestral Swiftness, Primordial Wave, you get your two Ancestors out, and you just start pumping damage with them. Cast Chain Lightning over and over again with your Storm Elemental active. Your Storm Elemental reduces the cast speed, or increases the cast speed of Chain Lightning. So you go Chain Lightning, Chain Lightning, Chain Lightning, Chain Lightning, Chain Lightning. Every one of those reduces the cooldown of Primordial Wave, of Ancestral Swiftness. It reduces the cooldown of your Stone Bulwark Totem. It reduces the cooldown of your Kick. It reduces the cooldown of Stormkeeper and your Ellie. It's like, it's so incredible now. And I think it's going to create a really fun hybrid build for like a lightning focused elemental build. It's lightning and fire, but it has kind of that lightning focus because of Storm Ellie and because you want to be pressing Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt in order to trigger Flash of Lightning. So there's some really incredible implications here. Very, very, very good. This thing is crazy strong. And Primordial Wave, you know, it should have been having its cooldown reduced because it's an elemental ability now. So we'll have to wait and see how this kind of looks, but I think it looks incredibly strong to me. Couple of other changes that came through, just a lot of issues revolving from like Ellie Blast automatically proccing Fusion and getting also benefit from Magma Chamber, even though it shouldn't be. Lava Beam was not benefiting from Storm Frenzy. Thunderstrike Ward was not triggering a Lava Beam. There's a lot of things that were just big things. This is one that worries me here. I don't know what this exactly means. Resolved an issue causing Earthquake overload damage to be higher than intended. Let's hope that this isn't like a giga nerf to the overload damage. That would be really sad because I like Earthquake overloading. Now, last thing I want to talk about is the Tempest tree for Ellie Shaman. Arc Discharge got nerfed again. That's okay. That was expected, honestly. The chain lightnings were doing way too much damage. So this is when it's this one right here. So your next two chain lightnings, instead of doing 75% more damage, they're going to do 40% more damage. It's okay. I promise. Don't worry. It's not the end of the world. Now they've nerfed it, but it now scales properly. Tempest is now scaling with the crit chance from Nature's Fury. That's right here. So you're going to get 4% more crit chance on Tempest now, which is really good. Tempest now also scales properly with Stormcaller, which gives you more crit chance on your nature spells. Very, very good. So you're going to have a high crit chance for Tempest now, which is super good. Awakening Storms now properly modified by Stormcaller. That's these procs that you're getting. So when you Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, you have a chance to proc nature damage. That's now going to scale with the crit from Stormcaller and the crit from Nature's Fury. So once again, a lot of these things just weren't working correctly, and now they're going to be, which is super great. This is the big one here. Maelstrom spending requirement to activate Tempest for Ellie Shaman has been decreased to 300. It was 400. So you're going to have now 25% more uptime on Tempest. 25% more uptime on Tempest because it's going to cost less Maelstrom to get to your next Tempest. And of course, you're going to cast Tempest as soon as it procs. So this is a direct buff to the damage of Tempest. Even though the damage of Tempest isn't going up, the uptime of Tempest is going up. Therefore, like, you're going to be casting way more of them, which means you're going to be doing a lot more Tempest damage. Right now, Tempest does not contribute largely to our damage. It's only 3.4 plus 2.7. It ends up being about 6.4% of our damage. So it's just under our flame shock. So it's like our fifth highest damage thing. This is going to create 25% more uptime for Tempest, which means the damage is going to go up. I don't know exactly what the damage is going to go to, but instead of it being, 6.5%, maybe it ends up being like 10% of our damage or something instead of 6.5. That would be really, really cool. Maybe it ends up being 8% of our damage or something, which would be good. We need Tempest to do more damage. So this is a huge buff to the Stormbringer tree in general, which I think is really necessary because, in my opinion, the best way to play any version of any lightning build is right now it's the hybrid build with Farseer and taking like Storm Ellie and all this stuff here. The talent tree that I have set up right here, this to me is one of the best ways to incorporate the lightning stuff into a build, but it still requires you to go Farseer. So I think the Stormbringer tree is way worse. This makes it a lot better. We're gonna have to wait and see. I can't test it right now because the stupid beta isn't actually updated. So those are all the biggest changes that came through for Ellie Shaman. Yes, there's a bunch of nerfs. Lightning Bolt, Lava Burst, Ellie Blast, these all got nerfed. Lightning Bolt slightly, but the rest of them got nerfed quite a bit. The Fire build has definitely been brought down. I would say the Lightning build has definitely been brought up. I just don't know by how much yet. I don't know how viable the Lightning build is. I'm going to work on it. I'll promise you I'll get a video out on it really soon. I can't tell just from reading these notes without actually being able to hit the dummies yet. But there's definitely some nerfs. There's definitely some buffs that have come through. This quality of life change, I think, is massive for the Lightning build in particular. And of course, this Maelstrom spending requirement is good for the Lightning build as well. We're going to have to wait and see if there is a good Stormbringer build to help Ellie Shaman with this hero tree to get back on their feet, because right now it's Farseer all the way. It's Farseer if you're doing a pure fire build, and it's still Farseer if you're doing a hybrid lightning and fire build like I have kind of cooked up right here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I promise you I'm going to be doing more videos once I can get the testing underway, and I will give that to you as soon as I can to try and see if I can get a viable lightning build. But let me know what you think about in the comments down below about all the changes that have come for Ellie here. Are you worried about Ellie? I'm not worried. I'm maining Ellie, and I'm still very excited about it. I'm not worried about these changes at all. So hopefully if that can help you guys with your fear, if you're scared about this at all, I would not be scared. Ellie is still going to be very strong, okay? I promise you it's going to be good. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much again for watching. Love y'all. I'll see you in the next one.